party now. We're going to do the one bit of news that we've got remaining, and I wanted to really touch on this. You watched both videos. You watched the setup of the angle on the previous Dynamite, and you watched Darby Allin then address the Young Bucks. So very quickly, in fact, why don't you tell us what happened the week before with Sting and Darby and the Young Bucks? What did you see?
Well, I just watched his interview.
Oh, you didn't see what happened the week before?
The Young Bucks beat up Sting's two sons.
As well as Sting and Darby, yeah.
Yeah, and they got blood on their outfits.
Mm-hmm.
And they wore those outfits to the ring. And here comes Darby by himself to answer the two brothers without Sting. And he got a ring and he had a stick, I guess, for protection. And he cuts this interview. And he didn't even bring up beating up his kids, doing this or doing that, and he even brought up Cody Rhodes' name. Why? I think they would want the people to forget Cody, because that would be involving him in the angle, which he is with another company. We know that's not going to happen. I didn't understand it, and it ended flat as hell. It just they left. So what I would do to make it end up good or better, I would have Darby says, "Hey, everybody in that dressing room has never liked me at all, and I don't expect no help out here." And they said, "Yeah, you ain't gonna get no help either." And then have a bunch of guys just come at top of the stage. It's like, well, yeah, he's got a point, but we're not gonna, and somehow run them in. Now they're forced to go. He can say, "Come on in," or something like that. I would end it a different way. I think it was what he gave wasn't a bad interview, really, if you didn't listen to what he was saying.
No, he was eloquent.
And
he was eloquent in what he said.
It was a good interview, and maybe that'll sell it. I don't know.
It barely mentioned. I mean, it's now official that, that we've known for weeks, Darby and Sting's final match is going to be facing the Young Bucks for the AEW tag team titles. But, oh man, I mean, I was watching it. I actually was listening to Wrestling Observer Radio, and I was even laughing because Dave Meltzer was obliterating it and just saying the most counterproductive promo I've ever heard. Because you've got the Young Bucks.
Was that at the end of the show?
No, I don't think it was at the end of the show. I think it might have been in the middle of the show. And keep in mind, that's the main event for the pay-per-view.
Well, I'm glad it was at the middle of the show, because if that'd been a bad way to end it. Unless they have another way to end the next show. How many shows before their pay-per-view?
Oh, geez. I don't think it's this Saturday, is it? I hope that wasn't the go-home show. Can you imagine if that was the go-home? Hang on. No, I think it's in a few weeks. It's in a few weeks, I think.
It's not go home. It's don't leave home to come and see it, or don't turn your TV on, maybe. But I don't know. It's you can't make sense out of AEW, because Tony has never been at this level of booking. I don't think a lot of bookers have been at this level of booking, really. And you can tell that he's kind of lost. He didn't know what to do. And I don't know who's advising him, because they've never let that out. I mean, Tony strictly has control over 100% of the book. That's what I'm getting by watching it. Nobody it's even leaked that anybody is helping him. I'm sure somebody is helping him, but I don't know. And see, everybody thinks they can book. Well, everybody can. Everybody can. It doesn't take a damn master's degree to book. But you need to know a few things. But you need to be around somebody who has booked and who has you need an education in that. It's like storytelling. WWE, if you watch them, it takes a while. And I think that is, from my vantage point, a lack of patience. When they say, we got to get this house up, we got to get it up. Well, they do a deal where they call hot shot, which is, I think, what they try to do here. I don't think you needed an angle going into the Sting thing. It's his last match, and let the book say we want to be known as the ones who took Sting out.
So you wouldn't have done any kind of sneak attack. You would have just interviews back and forth, and that was it.
Well, I don't know what I'd do because I'm not there. I don't know. You got to feel the room. You got to feel the vibe.
Well, would you go there and try and get a Cody Rhodes chant started?
No, I wouldn't have done that. So, but what he's saying is, you didn't hire me. You hired this other guy who was a failure. And then Cody said this and said, whatever. I don't think that's not beneficial to your cause at all.
Do you know what, as well, the other thing is, and because we've been, as I say, recording this on a Friday, not a Thursday like usual, I always do the thumbnails, the little pictures for the clips on a Friday morning. So I've actually preempted what we were talking about and made them. And then when I was doing the screen grabs for Dynamite to make into a picture, and I know we've talked about this before, but man, their production is so dark. I have to lighten up those photos and sharpen them up so much. It's like you can barely see the Young Bucks. You can not really make out Darby Allin from the ring, and it's shot weird because it's like the camera's like right up his nose the entire time he's cutting the interview. It's weird.
It looks like you shot it on a Sony hand cam.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
It looks 10 years old technology they're filming it on, or pre-HD sometimes.
And people, they go to WWE, they go to Raw, or they go to SmackDown, and you see great camera work. I have noticed about SmackDown and Raw, they don't do the jerky camera movements anymore since Steve Dunn.
Kevin.
What's his name? Kevin Dunn's gone, which always irked the hell out of me. So, but you don't see that. And I think AEW, they need a lot of work in that truck. They need a lot of work. And I don't know who's directing the shots. That's the truck doing it, really, but I don't know who's there. But it's not that so much. You can put up with some odd shots every now and then. It's the lighting. And if you don't have the lighting, it looks like you're sitting in a warehouse somewhere with some people around the ring and a light over it.
Do you know what it is? Have you ever seen Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark? The first one.
I was just watching it when we started this.
You kidding?
No, I wasn't. No.
You son of a gun.
That's twice I've got you today.
I'm editing those out. No, leave me. At the very last shot, right, they get the Ark and in a box, and the federal government put it in a warehouse in amongst thousands of other boxes. And that's how Dynamite is shot. It just seems to be just some lights in the center, darkness all around to nowadays hide that there's not that many fans there. But also, Tony has said that they're going to be doing a new stage design soon. So hopefully that will address...
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully that will address some of the problems, because it's so black at the moment.
And that is, let me tell you, that is expensive.
Yeah.
To do that. Very expensive. So, but at least he's thinking about it. At least he has come to the conclusion that it's more than just wrestling. If you're going to do a show, you got to do a show. So, and I'm watching. So if you're going to show wrestling to somebody who's not a fan, when you show them this, it's almost like Broadway in a sense. You parade your performers down the aisle, and they're all dressed and, sprinkly stuff, and the girls and the guys and the big muscles. So hits the show, and they're doing the walk, and the music. Even though the music is all original, I don't much like the music, but not as good as it used to be. But they got rid of their music guy. But you will never. I can't say that you'll never. But the Undertaker music became a classic. Steve Austin music became a classic. The Breaking the Glass. So when you heard that, now I forgot the guy's name. His name was Johnson.
Jim Johnson.
But he was Jim Johnson, and I met him, and he was just like a musician that he wasn't too he wasn't very interesting to talk to, unless you were talking about music. But he did know music, and he was very, very good, because some of his things that he came up with are known all around the world. But guess what? He doesn't get any of the money from it. WWE owns all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hear that somewhere, I mean, WWE, they get music whenever it's used. They get money whenever it's used. If it's used in a movie, WWE gets the money, and Jim Johnson gets 0%.
I think as a co-composer, he may get a percentage in it, but yeah, that's what happens when a company hires an in-house musician. They keep the trademarks, they keep the copyright on the songs themselves. Very quickly, we've already gone over on our showtime, but as far as Darby Allin and what we saw with him, is this a case for script writers? Because he delivered what he said just fine. It's just he said all the wrong things to promote a match. Is this a case for getting a scriptwriter, or at least someone to work with some of the guys for bullet points?
Well, they don't want that, remember? They think they can go out there and deliver this on their own. They can't. I mean, I don't know if any scriptwriter worked with him on this. I can't believe any one of them did. And I don't know who even wrote it, if anybody did write it, or if it was just off the top of his head. You can't tell, because it was a very amateurish interview. Even though it was good, it was pretty good. I mean, you could tell that he was excited about it, but you couldn't. I think he just said the wrong things, and I don't know. You see something, said, well, a fan will say you like it right now, the way it is, or it could have been better, or it sucked. So I'm right in the middle on that.